Empowerment Show aims to equip individuals with the necessary tools, knowledge, and confidence to make informed decisions and take control of their lives. It also focuses on ensuring access to essential resources and the opportunities.
Well, here it is, 6 o'clock again, and welcome to the Empowerment Show. For those of you, if this is your first time watching, thank you for tuning in. For the rest of you guys, please hit that subscribe button and or the like, whichever way we go. It's all good with me. All right, this evening we have an educator here, and I've been checking out her resume, and I'm telling you, the woman she's got a very extensive resume. It would probably take the whole show for me to read it. But the young lady's name is Anna Lopez, and I'm going to let you hear from her. Good evening, Anna. How are you?
Oh, good evening, Handel. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. You know, like I said, I was going over some of your resume. I like to do research about who am my guest and so forth. I'm going to tell you, you just amaze me, man. Really. So, what exactly is your title, and what do you do with it?
Well, I'm a Pocono Mountain School Board Director. I was elected about 4 years ago, and this
Hmm.
year's my reelection year. And what I've done with it so far is it's the first day I worked on policy, about 2,200 of them. I we sat down with the administration. I sat down with administration and with the lawyer, and they went through all their processes, all through Pocono Mountain processes, and we just revamped a lot of our policies and took a lot of suggestions from the PSBA, the association that we all are a part of here in Pennsylvania, that helps school board directors in doing policy and creating their policies. So that took a good chunk of, say, 9 months, kind of like a lot of labor. It was nice to give birth to them all through the year. And we're about to work on some extra policies this year. We have the air policy I want to work on for air quality in the schools. I think it's something important to leave behind.
Right.
Um, and another thing I did advocate very hard for is to look at protecting our investments in the schools. So like our actual like assets, like the school buildings is themselves.
Right.
For many years they haven't been taken care of. So when I proposed the idea, I proposed to borrow money because they totally went down my neck. Like, Anna, we're not going to raise money, raise taxes for this. Where are we going to get the money from? So hold on, hold on, calm down. We can borrow money, but so just think about it like it's your house, right? You
Right.
have a budget. Yes, you want to expand that budget. So you just take some credit, and we have very good credit ratings. So when we borrow that money, because I also have a degree in economics too. It's awesome. I love it. Um,
Yeah, I know that too. You have a degree in Jesus. When it
everything,
comes to educating
everything.
children, you're the
Yeah.
person that we need to talk to. But I got somebody else that may just want to ask you a question or two,
No, go
and her
ahead. Yeah.
name is Her name is Shaquana Terry. How you doing, Shaquana? How you feeling today?
Hi, how are you? I'm well.
Anna,
How's everyone
nice to
doing?
meet you.
Good, good. This is Anna Lopez, and this is Shaquana Terry. And if you got any questions you want to ask her, Shaquana, be
Okay.
my guest.
Absolutely. I did hear a few of your initiatives that you actually were talking about. First, I want to say, very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And it seems like you're doing such a wonderful job. And I was able to look up some things that, of course, you were involved in, things that you're trying to pass now. And I know you mentioned the Clean Air Initiative, I believe it is.
Yes.
How is that going? And what can we do as a community to kind of assist with that?
Well, I believe I found some money for it. Um, I was just at a conference and it really helped me. I am going to have a sit down with the administrator, with Dr. Robertson and our legal team, to see how we can write that out and how our processes that we have currently can be all put together, because we do have some bits and parts of that cleaner. Like we just redoing all the Havoc systems. I'm redoing every single Havoc system in all of the buildings. And so because I'm doing that, I want to make sure that we tie it into policy, because I feel policy is a way that we can protect us, like one fist. You have your actions, and then you have your policy, like your directives, your goals, and things need to be written down to be accomplished. So I want to mix those two to be able to leave that as a legacy for the school system so they can protect all children and taxpayers, because we don't want our kids to be sick, or try to keep them their most healthy, at their optimal health. And the way to do that is to include air.
Well,
That's
I had another question. I'm sorry about that,
no,
Shaquan.
but
I didn't, go ahead and slap me 3 times. It's all good. I did have a question, and it's been on my mind. I'm getting a little mature, and I'm starting to mature, so I don't want to lose track of a question that I asked for you. So, being that you are of heritage, of Hispanic heritage, and as you can see, we're all here. The, we're brown people. I just want to know, in the education system here in Monroe County, I'm hoping that it's unlike other places where they decided that they're gonna do away with the with African American history studies. That's also will be a part of yours as well. So how do we combat that here? Because we still got the DEI situation going on, and the
yes.
schools have been kind of defunded as far as the president's concerned. They've cut a lot of programs that's gone. The summer programs, the after school programs. So my next question is after that about the history and where we're going as far as our legacy is concerned, since we're dealing with legacy. My,
Yes.
my next question is, how are we going to keep up the funding if we're not going to be funded by the government?
Honestly, I think that's a really far-fetched thing that would happen, because right now, I guess I'll give you a little synopsis. Over just this week, we had the Supreme Court did vote on 4-4 this week to let Trump cut some block grants, and it does concern a lot of people, not only here in Pennsylvania but across the nation, because there's a section of the Rehabilitation Act. So what Trump is doing is he's trying to shift disability into let's fix you, not support you,
Hmm.
with that whole idea. So in order for that to happen, the actual governance has to be able to agree to that. And maybe you can say maybe that they would, but the other side you have the court. So you already have the UFT fighting. Thank God for our unions.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're fighting. They put in their lawsuit. You have the association also. They put in their lawsuit. So there's so much support, and I'm so grateful for community when we can come together and be able to just speak our peace and our love, and just fight for what is right. And in terms of African studies, that's not gonna go away. We're all one family. We're all together. Like I know I'm Hispanic heritage. I also am sub African as well with my husband. So Puerto Ricans wear mostly everything. I'm Native American too. I have a great grandparent that's Native American. I have like 10% blood. Um, I'm everything. So I'm just like I don't I don't look at just one part. I look every part. We're all, because I would love to see more native, like, things like traditions done, and Puerto Rican traditions done here. I mean, but I bring it. So whatever's not here, I bring it. I need to don't need to ask, oh, you need to do this. So it's in there. They have Spanish Heritage Month and stuff like that, which is something we always all go through. But I'm I'm just appreciative that the community has always supported me. I mean, not even when I wanted, like, I didn't want it. Like, Anna, you got to do this. It cannot, Anna. I'm like, I can't say no. I did come here to retire. But yeah, I did. I try to hide up in the mountains. It's elevation, but I can't help it. I can't say no. I'm so bad at saying no.
So did you
I will
always want to be
find a
an
way.
educator? Did you always want to be an educator?
No, I first wanted to be a medical doctor,
Uh-huh.
Mm.
and then I couldn't afford it. So then I went to, well, I had a mentor that she saw something in me that I didn't see for myself, where I've always advocated in my lifetime. And she brought me into the Head Start program and said, Anna, you could volunteer here with us. I had a son that was young, and she brought out that educator part of me. And then when I started to do that, it was so hard because I saw politics just hurting kids through hurting the teachers and restraining them and dictating what they were to teach and how. And it just hurt me so bad that I said, I have to try to fix this. I have to find a solution for this.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was going through school, I started to create and study a program that's called a lead teacher program, and how to best support a new teacher and grow and develop our older teachers to lead and to become administrators while closing the achievement gap of students.
I think that you actually have one of the most important characteristics, and that's empathy, right? We all need that, and it's important for us to be able to see every side of the coin, right? So that we, even if we want to advocate for one person, that may help someone else. So it's great to see the bigger picture, and I think that because you have that empathy, you have the want to actually help everyone. I think that, you're the perfect person for the job from what I can see. Now, it's talking about funding. I know that President Trump was, he said he was going to cut like $400 million from Columbia University because of their protests there. I personally don't feel as if our school districts or school districts alike will go down without a fight, because there are so many things that these kids need. And during COVID, that actually brought it to the forefront, because there were so many families hiding behind the line, right? And now we know exactly what some of these kids need. It was actually evident when they couldn't go online and get and get their schoolwork because they had no cable, or Wi-Fi. So it's evident that these kids are some of them are below the poverty level or right at that level. So cutting funding would be a huge detriment to the way that they learn. So hopefully they don't do that. And the UFT, amongst other groups and parent
Yeah.
associations, continue to fight.
Okay, we're going to take a little 30-second commercial break, and we'll be right back. Yeah, that commercial was brought to you by the Wolfpack. You guys can always check out the Wolfpack on Facebook or in Instagram. Type at Facebook and you'll be good to go. Anna, hey, we're back. So, about the funding, are we funded by the
Yeah.
federal government or are we funded by the state?
Well,
Who
schools have
actually
both
funds us?
funding. Yeah,
Hmm.
both. Because we have our school program, our school lunch programs and breakfasts. Those programs are subsidized, by the federal government, and now by the state. So they all pull into us to help us out.
Hmm.
The funding, I don't know, it's really hard funding. And what I find out here in Pennsylvania is our our like electricity bill is just compounding right now. It's killing me. Like it's like part of the budget that I just like cringe at, because um especially for children, you're teaching children that cost of the electrical wattage should be cheaper for us in one way or another. And there should be some type of subsidy or some way that we can um I say here, there's been a hard time here to tap into a gas line. I am so tried every angle to try to look for a gas line for us to tap, because they've asked in the past, school board members have asked so that it could be cheaper, because natural gas is way cheaper than electricity. So if we could
Hmm.
tap into that line, which we're willing to pay for, to tap into it, why can't we tap into our own natural resource? So that is one of my pet peeves, and that would help us in our budget when it comes to funding. Because just imagine coming to school and not and having these lights, but we have to pay so much for it. I know it's killing us at home because it's killing me at home. The
Yes.
electric bill right now is killing me at home. So imagine in school, like how many buildings for how many kids? It's not even equitable for us. Like we have to raise taxes 1%. Thank God. Like I'm like, I don't even want to do that because you're taking food off of my table. I can't eat beef as
Yeah.
much as I want to. I gotta stick to chicken. I can't afford fish. Forget about it. I can't get there. But not now, because I love my advocacy work.
Hmm.
There's no way I could get paid for to doing what I'm doing and have a thumb on my back. So yeah, I mean, my husband is the one who supports us. Maybe if I can get a job, hey, that would be wonderful. But honestly, here in Pennsylvania with my last name Lopez, I don't have much luck because I'm not
It's
willing
a
to ask for a favor. That's for sure.
it definitely is a lot. And I think that the infrastructure in the Poconos period is way behind the pack, right? We should be able to tap into a natural gas line somewhere, but I think that for the most part they did not foresee that there'd be so many people actually living in the Poconos, right?
Right.
This was a resort area where people
Mhm.
came in the winter for skiing and things of that nature on their summer breaks. So now that you have more people, you have an influx of people coming into the area because of course, money, and it's a cheaper way to live. The cost of living is a lot cheaper than, say, New York or New Jersey, and those people are able to commute easily down Interstate 80.
Mm.
They just didn't prepare for it, the influx of people. So we're years behind when it comes to building. I remember when I came here 18 years ago, they were still talking about a train coming, and that hasn't even come,
Mhm.
and I know Kendall has been here for longer than that, and that
Yeah,
they've
everyone's
been
still
talking
waiting for
about a
that
train.
train. Yeah.
you
Got to ask
know
you a question though. With this last this last election that we had, if that's what you want to call it, the last election that we had, a lot of things went around where they said that they pretty much call people stupid. They call it the uneducated. Now, I did a little research and I come to find out that in a lot of the school districts, high schools, and yeah, I'd say mostly high schools, they don't have any civics classes anymore. So if they don't teach civics classes, then how will the young people supposed to know anything about government and how government works and how it actually works? I mean, you can ask the average kid and they'll tell you everything is the government. And then when you say, well, which branch of government, they have no idea.
uh, I think that's taught though, because my daughter, she knows everything about it,
Hmm.
so it's definitely taught. It's
Well,
also
she has you for a mother,
Well,
so
we talk
that's
about it
you
at
know, yeah,
home,
yeah. Well, okay, but that she has you as
but
a mother.
it's still,
All mothers are not like that. You know what I mean?
I
You
get that, but it is taught in
a
school.
mother
I
that's going to
do know
show up. You're going to show up at the PTA.
And
You,
she's right.
you're
If
the
the
one that's
state
going to make a
requires it,
difference. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of African American people, period, do not join the PTA. They don't show up. They don't. So when you don't show up, you don't have a voice.
it's
I think that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anna.
And I'm from a
no,
time
no. I'm
period
sorry.
where we learned about the bill.
It's
You
not
know, I
fair that
learned about.
especially in our area, they're working. They're out
Yeah,
traveling
yeah,
like to
okay, all
work
right,
to
uh-huh.
make that big money. Look, I'm not making an excuse for our parents, but I'm just saying I have empathy for them. I understand them.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
They're
I
and
used to travel
think
a
about it.
thousand miles a
Even
week to
just
go back
two
and forth
hours
to
away.
New York to work. I even had sometimes I had to stay in New York, and along with that, I had my own company that I was running at the same time, and I was working for another company for Verizon for which was crazy. Along with that, I was in school. I was attending Pace University. But you know what? I made every football game. I made every PTA meeting. I made it a priority over everything else to make sure that my child would be properly educated and that I would have a voice within the school as to what the curriculum is going to be. So again, I still see a lot of schools that really don't teach civics. They don't. And
I
that's bad, especially when we come to these elections. People, they're not going to know how to vote. They're going to vote with their moral compass instead of their brain.
I personally thought that that was something that was required
Nope.
in schools. It may not be called civics, but it's called something else. They do have
I mean,
like
social studies.
social studies, global history, things of that nature.
Uh-huh.
So government, law and government. There's a bunch of courses that they do have. Now, whether that child is paying attention, that's another story.
That's another
But it is
story.
taught.
Oh, I just tell you, they must not be absorbing it very well because even some of the adults, you ask them about what's going on in government, you ask them which branch, they have no idea,
Yeah,
no idea. They point the finger and say everything is the government, and that's not true. I mean,
correct.
like Congress, they hold the purse strings. And this is why Trump is not able to do a lot of things because he still needs their approval. But a lot of the kids they don't know that. They really don't. I think we need to make an emphasis on that because in 4 years, those kids that are in high school now, they're going to be graduating and they're going to be voting.
Well, can we be fair and say we can't really say a lot of kids because we don't know that, right? Can we be fair? Because
Okay,
from
right. I shouldn't
from my
generalize.
trajectory,
I shouldn't generalize.
from my trajectory, all of my daughter's friends and their friends' friends know the branches of the government. So I don't really want to generalize it, but I think that I think we should put a little bit more emphasis on it. Absolutely. And of course, learning starts at home. So if you're speaking to a child who doesn't really know the branches of the government, it may be that they just don't understand them. They need a little bit more explaining. I don't know, but I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt here because I think that the school system here is still okay. And
the school system here, and I was explaining to her earlier that the school system here is impeccable. We're like the best in the country, actually. Pennsylvania school systems, we're in the top 10 and everything.
Yeah, we're in the top.
And Monroe County is at the top 10 as far as Pennsylvania is concerned. They have like the best school systems. East Stroudsburg, the best school systems in Pennsylvania.
They're one of the best, yes. I think that that's evident when you see the kids and what they and how they react and move, and especially when they go off to college. As those that go on to continue education, they do amazing. From what
73%, 73% of the kids that graduate from high school in Monroe County go to college. 96% of the children that graduate from Monroe County High School, 96% graduation rate.
Amazing.
That is amazing. I think that's outstanding. I think you've done a good job, Ms. Lopez.
Yes,
I think you're doing a good job, Ms. Lopez.
Yeah, because our cyber program, I could keep bragging. Our cyber program just got that NCAA approval. So when you're into sports, you're athlete, football, basketball, hockey, whatever your athletic desires are, you can take our cyber program when you live here in our Pocono Mountain School District, and you're able to all your credits count in college, and the NCAA you'll be accepted. And that was a really hard credential to get for a cyber program. And we achieved it. The teachers, they're just amazing. I was just so happy. I was like, yeah, because we need that for our kids. It's just more access. It gives the athletes time during the day to work out, work on their skills, and at night or whenever they feel like it, they want like a break from all that athletic stuff. They can just work on their academic stuff.
Now, I'm not a jock. I'm a nerd. So do you have any STEM programs?
Yes, and we just got awarded for that. Another brand.
There you go. There's two. There's STEM and STEAM. So which one we going with?
Oh, STEAM, but
STEAM.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's art. They include art. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it includes everything because we're like holistic education.
Yeah.
Holistic education.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're DEI, please. We got to cancel
holistic. That's a bad word now. It's a bad word now.
They say woke is a bad word too. Yeah.
Listen, I know that the current administration is doing its best to try to overturn so many things that, when it comes to diversity and equity and inclusion. But I would like to say that Penn State, one of the top colleges in Pennsylvania, of course, and actually in the world as well, because they have great an alumni network as well. But they are still giving student scholarships. There's and people, not just minorities, they're called equity scholars. So they can be, black, white, brown, anything, yellow, blue, whatever it is, as long as you are achieving, a high academic rating, you can get a scholarship. And I know that because my children, both of them now, have been recipients of them.
Okay, this is a little bit off topic. We got a comment from a young man named Charles Brown. Okay. And he'd like to know about when it comes to Columbia University, he wants you to explain how a private institution gets federal funding.
Well, I believe that a lot of their alumni I know with Columbia University, what he's trying to take away is the because I believe the students were protesting on campus, right? And most of the funding, actually, some of it actually came from the federal government. $400 million of it actually came from there. Now you have a lot of donors and you have a lot of corporations who have ties in federal funding as well. So when you try to take all of that away from them, because of the corporations that may have donated to Columbia, then they consider it federal funding. Technically, is it really? But I don't know. But I know that they are conceding. I do know that. I believe that because my sister is an alumni of Columbia as well. And she is, I believe that their alumni is conceding to that. And they're trying to fight it, but I don't know how successful they will be because it's New York City. And we're talking about Jewish people in New York City, who have taken offense to a lot of the protesting that they have on campus. So either you lose that money, which is a chunk. $400 million is a lot of money to lose in order to, keep their school afloat. If that's a lot. So I think they're going to concede to Trump's requests or demands. I should say. Yeah.
Well, what happened to freedom of speech? What happened to that?
Yeah.
Well, it seems right now we're under the thumb of an administration who wants to be a dictator or oligarchy, fascist, all of those things. But honestly, I think it's all about money, and they're trying to make the money for their billionaires, and all this other stuff is just an illusion, just a distraction.
It definitely could be, but what I do know is, him trying to overturn so many things. There are so many things that are interconnected, right? That when you touch one thing, then it becomes a domino effect, right? Where then this thing has to get touched and another thing has to get touched. And I believe that he realizes it, but I don't want to put myself out on a limb and say that he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
It feels like he's misinformed as well.
The man had a nephew that was laying there dying. Okay. And he let him he could have helped him out in the whole nine. This is his brother's kid. He doesn't care. Okay? He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about me. And he damn sure enough does not care about the American people. Otherwise, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious to me. I mean, you want to walk into an educational institution and say, okay, everybody out, you're fired. How do you do that?
Yeah.
People have family, they have lives, they have a livelihood. I got to pay my bills next week. I was expecting to get my paycheck. All of a sudden, I get an email and I don't even have a job. Okay? And to Elon Musk, I tell him, what do they call it? Karma? Because in New York City, he had to end up closing his establishment because
he did.
They were burning it down, tearing it down, and now he's on the camera crying, boo-hoo. Okay, I'm not worried about you. You didn't have a problem with taking people's jobs away from them, taking people's livelihood away from them because you felt it was some sort of a waste. Please, America is not a business. You understand? And you can't run America like it's a business. You can't do that because we're not a business. Anyway, Anna, thank you very much for showing up to the Empowerment Show, and I hope that you tune in on a regular basis. As it says down at the bottom, please subscribe, leave a comment. We're live on Facebook, and we're also live on YouTube. Now, this particular show comes on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. We also have an additional show that comes on Sunday, and it's called The Pipeline, which comes out from, it's what did the guy say? It's from the prison block, the cell block, to back on the block. And that's hosted by a young man named Chandra. Also on Tuesday, we have our politics show, and that usually comes on about 5 o'clock with Mr. Ronald Yates. And you can also check out Ronald Yates at GenesisRadio.com, and he comes in on Thursday, I believe, from 6 to 7. And thank you, Shaquana, because you're a beautiful co-host, and we got to do this again. Okay, we got to do it again. Okay, and Miss Anna, thank you very much for showing up. My name is Kevin Stevenson.
Pleasure meeting you.
My name is
Likewise.
Kendall Stevenson, and thank you guys for
Love
tuning into the Empowerment Show. As a friend of mine always says, be yourself, because everybody else is taken.
That's right.
Peace.
Amen. Bye.
Bye.